Okay, so hello everybody and welcome back to Elitedangerous with Wadres, and for today's video I'm going to be going through and trying to complete some of the engineering that I've been collecting materials for, primarily because I've kind of maxed out some of the materials that I need, and well, I still need more of those materials to be able to do further engineering. So, trying to use up some of my surplus, as it were, or some of what I already have that's already maxed out, which means going through and engineering some of my FSDs and some of the sensors and a couple of other things that I'm basically in a good position to go ahead and finish the engineering on. Which also means I'm going to be jumping all over the place for a little bit here today. And first things first, looks like I'm actually going to be going back to Wolf 397 for, I think it's Blaster, to try to get my multi-cannons finished off here, especially since that's where my carrier is sitting anyway. I just topped off my Corvette, so we're going to go ahead and get on out of Dodge, start working over that way. And get rid of that mission. And every now and then you'll see me looking off to the side, I'm sure, because I've actually got a whole checklist of stuff here that I'm using to keep track of all 12 of my ships and the engineering that I've done on them so far. And basically just kind of checking it off as I go with a lot of these ships, both between material collecting and everything else. Just making sure that everything's up to speed, everything's where it needs to be. So just kind of want to throw that out there for anybody who happens to be wondering if I'm looking off to the side or anything like that. Alright, let's get back to the galaxy map. And that's not even going to redirect my targeting. There we go. Put the destination. And let's go ahead and make this first jump. Now, since I am going to go back to multi-cannons for the moment, I do need to figure out which ship it was that I actually had the multi-cannons in need of upgrading. That may actually be more achieved with my Excel spreadsheet here than it would be with hopefully it'll actually open. Okay. There we go. Let's go ahead and open Elite Ships. There we go. That tells me everything that is everything. Okay. No, you can close that again. Okay. So, looks like we've got a couple of multi-cannons that are still in need of work. Got one, looks like, on my Corvette, though I think that one might not be. Yeah, I'm looking for high capacities, not the overcharge. The overcharge I'm not going to be able to do anything with. I'll get back over there. The lightweight I might be able to get something in, but I don't think I'm going to be able to finish that. So it might actually be a wasted trip trying to get to the multi-cannons, unless I really pay attention to what I've got that has the high capacities that aren't finished. Like my Python here has a high capacity that's not finished. Anaconda... No, not the Anaconda. Okay, Corvette's finished. Great. There we go. Crusader's got a high capacity that's not finished. FDL has a high capacity that's not finished. Says I've got 3, so that would be my 3 would be the... Yeah. So Python, FDL, and Crusader with high capacities that still need to be worked on. So let's go ahead, start working in that direction. I really am not interested in a salvage contract. Let me go. And my stick has apparently taken on a slight bias towards the left yaw. Ay, ay, ay. There, maybe that'll stop him. It is a little bit warm in this room right now. Of course, it also doesn't help that I'm wearing like multiple layers here, so let's at least take this shirt off. Alrighty. That's better. New system. I may as well do a discovery scan while I'm passing through. Yay. So yeah, I've got some multi-cannons, specifically high capacities, that I'm definitely gonna be able to at least finish off according to my chart on Inara regarding what materials I need. And I'm also going to be going off after finishing up some of my beam lasers because I've got materials together to finish those off. I think there was something about some of my hull reinforcements that I had everything that I needed for those, maybe. I'll have to double check that once I really start working in on some of these other upgrades. And then I get to jump over to look at actually adding on the Frameshift Mass Manager experimental effect to a couple of my FSDs for a small number of my ships. Where is that check off? It's right there. 1, 2, 3. I've got a good number of ships that still need to actually be finished off. So, yeah. Okay, so now where am I going here? I know my fleet carrier's here. That's where I'm going first, because that's where all of my ships are. Should be where all of my ships are. I think I may have rearranged a couple of them. I just hope not the wrong ones. So I'll have to make sure they're all properly transferred back to the carrier if they all aren't. Yeah, I'm just moving too fast for the planets I'm passing, not for the planets that I'm actually running into. Okay. Looks like my carrier is going to be on the close side of this planet. I can live with that. I'm fairly sure that I've mentioned before that one of the things that I really want to do in Elite Dangerous with this fleet carrier especially is get myself out into a long-range exploration position where I'm out, like, opposite side of the galaxy doing exploration. And before I do that, because I picked up a whole mess of ships, I want to actually make sure they're all properly engineered, up to and including my exploration-specific ships, of which I have two, the Diamondback Explorer and the Asp Explorer. The Diamondback has slightly better range at the moment than my Asp, but I'm almost tempted to say they're just about neck and neck. I think it's like 60 compared to 59. They're really not too much difference. And it would definitely help if I were properly centered and had my landing gear on now, wouldn't it? There we go. And of course, in specializing my Corvette for combat and things like that, I actually don't have a automated docking computer. So having to do that by hand is not impossible, but definitely fun. Alright, let's pull up shipyard. Looks like all of my ships are here, so that's good. Wanted the Python. Yeah, okay. Okay, now I should be able to pull out my Python. There we go. Carrying 100 tons worth of limpets, and the Python only has like an 8-ton capacity the way I've got it set up right at the moment. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get the this engineering done. Which of course also means being able to find my engineer. There he goes. There he is. Trophy camp, locked destination. And you can tell that the planet that his base is on is actually moving away from me based on just how quickly the time counter for the run at just basic speed is increasing. Let's go ahead and because there's no way in hell that I'm spending 13 days on stream chasing down a single planet. That would be just downright stupid. Especially if the planet's running away from me faster than I'm running towards it, so. Better just use frameshift drive. And it looks like my camera, my webcam is timed out on me here. Come on, come back. Seriously. I may have to call the webcam a moot point. It's decided real hard that it wants to argue with me tonight. Okay. Come on. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to write off the webcam for tonight, folks. It's just not wanting to connect in no matter what I do. Let's go ahead and turn that off. And get back to work. There we go. Maybe I'll try the cam again later. And just to be sure, yeah, I do still have the live stream up, so. And by the way, I don't know if anybody who frequents my World of Warships videos has been watching any of my streams. I do apologize for not doing World of Warships anytime particularly recently, but with the exception of working on the Anchorage and doing some of the Decepticons mission, or sorry, Transformers collaborations missions, I really just haven't been too excited or thrilled about some of the content in World of Warships lately. So forgive me for kind of wanting to stay out and away from that for at least right now. It's just I'm almost tempted to say too much going on in World of Warships and not enough content that I actually find interesting or engaging. I would really prefer to just kind of... What the hell is going on here? Was I blacking out in my glide? That was different. That was definitely different. Okay. Never seen that before. At least I'm still close to the landing point. But anyway, going back to what I was saying before I got completely off track there, I do intend to get back to World of Warships sometime relatively soon. I'm wanting to get a lot of the work and everything in Elitedangerous that I've been making pushes on done. So it may be another week or two, depending on how much time I actually get to push on this project. But I do want to get back to World of Warships. I do want to get back into it. Just don't expect a lot of in-depth information or anything like that regarding, say, the U.S. battleship split, specifically, because I honestly am happy with the American battleships as they were in-game, like with the Iowa class and all of that. I don't think we needed whatever the hell it is that they've given us with this split-off. I think they could have gone a dozen different other directions that would have been so much better instead of dealing with what we got. I mean, I've even heard a couple of the CCs just going off like, why did we get this? So I'm not really pushing too much for input on that. I'm not... And you know what? Based on what little I have seen, I'm kind of with them. even though I haven't actually played those new battleships yet. Because, well, and those of you who know me in World of Warships, I am a co-op main. Co-op battles tend to be very short-lived, get in, get out, get done. And the new battleships, I think, are not going to be even remotely capable of the kind of playstyle that I enjoy or would be looking for in World of Warships. And I think that's, in many ways, just a waste, really. But it's basically already been done. Wargaming's gone ahead and done it when they could have done a million different things, honestly. Aside from just dropping in, okay, we've got these paper ships and design ships that were never actually taken anything done with them, but, you know, hey, we'll run with them anyway. Yeah, I just, yeah, it's... Wargaming, I think, has made some very dubious decisions in regards to these new battleships. I've just... Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm not sure what else I could say to emphasize that point enough. So there's one multi-cannon adjusted. Let's go back to the Arizona and pick up the next ship. Okay. Oops. I only just noticed on the stream, I adjusted some of my my tags, but I did not actually change my stream title. So I'm going to come in here real quick and actually make some adjustments to that. Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah, thank you. Go away. Edit. There we go. That should eventually play its way out in the overall title for the video. But anyway, that's done. So, okay, now. Let's go ahead and actually get out of Dodge, get the next ship in. Now, a lot of my ships are kind of built using the same basic setup to some degree. My combat ships are built for firepower and shield tankiness. I don't really work towards hull tanks too much. And just trying to figure out fine balance in a couple of other regards for some pseudo-interesting builds. The only ship that I actually have set up as a anti-Thargoid build, not that I've tested it, mind you, is my Anaconda. And I'm still debating whether or not even that's a good idea, because I've got it set up with anti-Xeno multi-cannons, but I've got doubts as to whether or not that's actually a good idea. I haven't exactly taken it into combat, and I'm not sure whether or not I actually will test it personally either. So, seriously? You're dragging me into the planet! No, you almost dragged me into the planet. You're going down. You are going down. Hooray, shields are offline. No, 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 you are not getting away from me. There. Drop anything good? No. Seriously. Okay. Okay. So where the fuck is my carrier? What the How did I end up way the hell out here? I want to know how that happened. Unless I was zooming in on the wrong carrier. But anybody else watching the stream, you saw that? You saw that, right? Okay. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And by the way, this is the Wolf 397 system, so that is not Earth I am cruising around, I might add. Just putting that out there. Even if it is a nice blue planet, it's definitely not Earth. So that was actually the first weapons test that my Python had, though. I'd say it worked out pretty well. So, yeah, that being said, I actually have yet to take a couple of these ships that I've been doing all of this engineering on and everything, so for the last few weeks. I have yet to take them out and actually do combat tests or anything like that on them. I've been just trying to do the engineering and get engineering materials together, which occasionally involves going in and doing a little bit of combat in, say, combat zones or conflict zones. But even then, that's really just few and far between, and looking for materials that I can only find from destroyed ships. So, yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and switch out to the... What was the other one that I needed? Was it the FDL? Yeah, FDL and Crusader that have the high caps. Okay. Sure, I'll go for the Crusader. It's the first one that I actually saw. And to whoever else is watching the stream, I would just like to say hello. You are welcome to pop up and chat and say hello. I am monitoring it off to my side here. wrong. There we go. Lock destination. Yeah, I forgot this one I don't have. Ack. I forgot I don't have the docking computer on this one either. Come on, stick 0 out, will you? Throttle back just a little bit so that I don't overshoot. Maybe you'll get some interesting scan off of this transporter. Nope, okay. Retarget the trophy camp. See, that's the other thing I'm doing a lot of, is anytime I'm going to and from places, if I have a random ship that ends up in my crosshairs, I'm making sure that I try to scan it, because there's also a good bunch of encoded data that I'm still way behind on. All right. Looks like we've got a good descent angle. Let's bring my speed down just a little. There we go. Perfect. So used to flying my Corvette. Come on, give me my relative. There we go. I've got extras, so I may as well do one more and actually let that finish off. Exit, launch. Now we go back to the carrier for the FDL. love it if my stick would actually properly zero out. I'm wondering if I need to do a firmware update or something on it. Doesn't seem like it's allowing itself to properly calibrate again. Last time that happened, it needed a firmware update. Major one. Now, once I get the FDL, I'm actually going to start setting it up so that my carrier jumps to the next engineer in line. Hopefully, I can move quickly enough to be able to get the engineering done on the FDL and then get set up for and get back to the carrier in time to make the jump to where I'm actually going to be doing the engineering for the frameshift drives that are out of cycle so far. Oh, I am doing a lousy job of actually hitting my targets on this stream, aren't I? As far as actually jumping into them properly. Of course, I'd be doing better if I were actually watching my throttle, wouldn't it? Get this bird on the ground, or at least on the bay. Ooh, a little close there. Come on. Waiting for the landing gear to deploy. Come on. There we go. Okay. Last but not least, the FDL just needs its multi-cannon upgraded. While that's switching over, I'm actually going to come into my sheet here and make updates. It's now a fully upgraded class 5. The Python now has a properly upgraded grade 5. FDL is what I'm working on right now. Come over to Inara. Cut that down to 1. And that should have my engineering materials and everything properly compensated and so on. So, okay. Now, one thing I will say is my FDL here, I mean, it just had a pretty decent boost speed getting away from my carrier. That is nothing compared to my Mamba. My Mamba would put my FDL's speed to shame. I think the Mamba's also one of the ones that I need to actually finish with the hyperdrive on. Or the FSD. Actually, no. FSD... FSD might still need work. The primary thing that's a holdout on my FSDs, by the way, is the fact that I need to go back and get the experimental effect actually applied. It's not an issue in regards to the engineering grade in most cases. But the experimental effects can only be applied by the engineers instead of through the pinned blueprints. So if I want to have the particular experimental effect on my FSDs for all of these ships that I want, it means I've got to go visit the very specific, good, high-grade FSD engineer in, well, wouldn't necessarily have to be high-grade, but, I mean, if I'm going for one for the experimental effect, I may as well go to the one for all of the final upgrades, too. But that's another matter entirely. Now that I think about it, I have all those properly marked on here, right? Yes, I do. Okay. And yes, I do apologize. I'm bouncing back and forth. I'm using screen capture. I'm not using the game-specific window or anything like that. Partly because I do want you all to be able to at least see something of what I'm looking at instead of just wondering what I'm talking about off to the side or anything like that. Okay, I see the landing pad that it's selected for me, so we'll at least get closer before I let the autodock take over. There we go. Can I dock? Yes. Do I feel like docking? No. Jeez, this update, or this... That one spec really does not want to move, does it? There we go. Good enough. I can live with that. And I had extra supercapacitors, so I probably don't need anything more. Hopefully. Alright, let's go ahead, go into here while I'm sitting here. Get this carrier set and ready to jump. Going to Felicity Farseer. And it will at least allow me to jump into the system. $22,000. Yeah, I'll live with that. Alright, so let's go ahead and now launch and get back to the carrier. And I'm flying upside down. Okay, there we go. Oh, come on, straighten out, you... I want to know why my stick's doing that. Now that would be why I'm not tracking in properly on my carrier. It's because I'm still locked onto the... Jeez. I'm just a treasure trove of the observation fails tonight, aren't I? At any rate, while that's speeding off towards the planet, I'll come back into here. Properly mark the Python. I already did. Number FDL. Where's the FDL? There's the FDL. Properly mark that as a grade 5 upgrade now. And then come into Anara and just wipe that entirely off the board. There we go. And just in time to turn in and dock on my carrier. Perfect. And I've still got 10 minutes before the ship makes the jump. I wonder. Which ones actually need the upgrade again? Oh, my Diamondback. I might be able to jump my Diamondback out there long before my carrier even gets there. That few that actually had the... I may not be able to finish that off. We'll see. Either way, I still need to use up some of these engineering materials if I want to actually be able to collect more materials. So... oh, come on, where is it? Eagle, Diamondback, there we go. 62 light years to a jump. Okay, so I was off a little bit by my, on my Asp versus Diamondback. Diamondback's getting almost 63 light years to the Asp's 59. And I think the Asp actually has the proper modifications on the core internal too. It's even got the mass manager on there. So the Diamondback Explorer is actually about to get an even further boost to its overall range once it gets fully engineered here. But it also just needs the modification. It doesn't need the full-on engineering, I don't think. I know that is one thing that I actually do have pinned in here is the FSD increased range. Yeah, it's basically right on it. Why does that not line up right? Ah, that's why I've got the components to increase the mass manager modification, but not the increased range upgrade. Okay. Reminds me, what is the mass manager's requirements? Disrupted wake echoes, galvanizing alloys. That's the big one. The hyperspace trajectories. I definitely do not have all of those that I need. I think I'm still off by, what? Yeah, 4 of those. As far as actually performing the rest of the engineering, that's down to data mined wake exceptions, and yeah, I'm not even close on that. Anyway, let's go ahead and auto launch, and I'll just navigate my way over to Felicity from here. Plot route. Should just take me straight to her. Yeah, 3 whopping jumps. This isn't going to take long. Stop cambering off. Come on, you stupid stick. What the f... I love this stick. It's awesome for what I need it to do, but ever since I got it, I've had issues with it actually being properly straight and center. Yeah. Yes, I do in fact actually have more weapons on my Diamondback Explorer than the, or more things on my Diamondback Explorer than the power plant can actually keep up with. And that's using an overpowered, or not, an armored power plant. Yeah, contrary to what may be a popular build, I do not actually have this thing built solely for jump range. I did want it to actually be able to somewhat power a lot of its modules. But, needless to say, it doesn't quite make the cut sometimes. If I wanted this thing built for jump range, I would have everything as small as possible, as light as possible, with the only thing really big enough to make the jump range being the FSD, and everything else is, again, as small as possible and as light as possible. So lightweight engineered. I'm not doing that. Now I am doing a lot of lightweight modifications to make some of the stuff that is on it a little bit lighter. But beyond that, I'm not engineering the thing to be a lightweight maximum jump range build. I'm curious because by now it should be giving me the range is increasing. That means the place my carrier's jumping into is going to be behind me somewhat. So I'm going to have a small commute to and from Farseer's base here. I was just briefly looking. I've been streaming for about an hour now so far. I think my biggest problem with this stick zeroing is that I keep letting it just kind of snap in. Hello, Mad Hatter. How are you tonight? Staying out of as much trouble as I possibly can. Just, working my way through some of the engineering I'm a little bit behind on just about all of my ships here. Found myself filling up a couple of my materials slots, and I need to open them up in order to actually collect more so that I can get some more engineering done. This is the downside of trying to engineer like 12 ships at once. Well, you're just starting out. I'd say definitely just try to get some of your missions in, things like that. If you're in a system that actually has some decent mining opportunities, you can actually earn some credits pretty quickly, get yourself into better ships a little bit faster, instead of worrying about the rank grind. I mean, that's really up to you whether or not you decide to go that route. Not entirely sure what ships I would recommend, though, beyond, say, Diamondback Explorer or the Asp Explorer, because those can also be converted somewhat for some semi-decent passenger runs. Okay, that's probably good for combat builds and the like. I really haven't played around with the Viper too much. Dang it. Dropped a little too close too fast. Oh, come on. Been arguing with my stick just about all night long, and looks like that's not going to stop anytime soon either. It doesn't want a zero. It keeps yawing off to the left. Oh, come on, finish the cooldown, will you? What do you want? Oh yeah, carrier jump is complete. Okay. I can live with that one. Come on. I think the stick personally just works a little bit better for the three-dimensional control, but mine's just acting really touchy the last couple of days. I think I need to figure out how to, I need to open up and get it recalibrated again or something, because it's fighting me. It's wanting to yaw off to the left for no good reason at all. But I do like the stick that I use particularly. I like because I already have a number of my more regular controls basically at my fingertips. What I use is the Howdy Thrustmaster, which is, I mean, it's got a good set of buttons on it, and I mean, yeah, there are a couple of things that I have programmed where I need to push two buttons for the controls, like my frame shift jumps, but overall it's really very well set up, I think. There are only a few things that I still have to rely on for the keyboard, but the big things that I want, like immediately if, say, I end up in combat, are already right there on the stick. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the FSD. That's already fully engineered. I just need to apply the mass manager. Yeah. There we go. There's one more. Just to finish that off. There we go. Exit. And now we can go back to the carrier and get the next chip in line done. Yeah, all of that navigation, by the way, through the menu, through the engineering and everything, that was all managed through my stick controls. None of that was on my keyboard. Not trying to brag or anything on the setup of the stick. I just want to confirm that that was, in fact, just right there at my fingertips on the stick. Come on, stop cambering off, please. The biggest part about going directly to the engineers, and this is going to be my biggest issue overall for just completing this video, it is just that a couple of the things that I need specifically are the experimental effects on my engineers, which means going to the bases, which means doing the surface landings. I can't just do these off of pinned blueprints or anything like that. I can't land, pin a blueprint, go back, and do everything else. No, I have to land, to do the experimental effect, go back, grab another ship, land, come back. So, yeah. Good times. And by the way, Hatter, because you were asking about some of the things getting yourself just into the game as a newer player, one of the things that I would definitely recommend against doing, at least for your standpoint, sort of starting off, getting into the swing of things, is definitely avoid engineering for the time being. It is very time consuming building up the engineering materials and whatnot, and unless you have modules that you know you're going to save for later ships down the line, which can be very iffy to a certain degree, because some ships may not be able to fit the same modules or the same class modules, or they won't go as far on a better ship, it's also the simple fact that trying to grind out the engineering materials is a very time-consuming process. You want to make sure you're going to be sticking with that ship that you're engineering for a good chunk of time. So, just a word of caution there if you're thinking about getting into any of the engineering. Yeah, there's that yaw to the left, like I was telling you about. Every now and then I get the stick to actually be settled and happy, and then suddenly, Okay, outfitting is one thing. I mean, choosing the modules that work best for the kind of build that you're looking for, that's one thing. What I'm talking about specifically are the engineering upgrades to specific modules. For example, what I'm doing right now is I'm engineering the FSD on my ships for extended jump range. But again, these take a lot of the scanning materials that you collect from destroying other ships, things like that. If you have a ship that you're not really going or wanting to stick around with for an extended period of time, like this is just a stepping stone to, say, your next ship, I wouldn't really worry about engineering that stepping stone ship so much as worrying about just making sure you're holding onto those materials for your endpoint ship. Does that make sense? Now, there are some things that I could potentially argue as being worthwhile to at least pursue engineering, regardless of what you have. Like, again, FSD at least, you can get better jump ranges. And that can help with just about any ship regardless. It's just, as far as anything else, weapons engineering or other module engineering, it's better left for your endgame ships, exactly. Or for the ships that you simply decide to hang on to at a later point as, like, collector's pieces. Which is kind of what I'm doing right at the moment. No, not off to the left. 0 out. Come on. I definitely need to get this recalibrated somewhere. Have fun, Hatter. I hope I was able to give you some good advice. And to anybody else who happens to be watching, I'd like to just say hello. You're welcome to pop up and chat and interact with me for a little bit if you feel like it. I'm just going through and doing some endpoint engineering, if you will, on a couple of my ships that I've been putting off on. Also to clear up just material space for even more engineering later down the road. Which one do I want to do next? I'd like to get the Eagle and the Defender in easily. So let's come over to here, Imperial Eagle, use. Okay, I'm looking for something substantially farther away than that. There we go. I really need to get all of these fleet carriers out of here. Settlement stations. Points of interest. There we go. Game trying to glitch on me? Yes, it is. Shit. Game glitch. This is the one problem that I run into with this game anytime I do surface landing after surface landing after surface landing, and then back into space and surface landing, space, surface, space, surface, is that after a while it just locks up the whole mess. Of course, it's also entirely possible that I may have just lost my signal too. No, I'm still connected. Game's just deciding to crap out on me. Go figure. Okay. So. Let's see if I can get this to work with me properly. I doubt it will. Yeah, nope, it's not going to let me log out. So, Task Manager it is. While I'm on this screen, I may as well mark that my FSD on the Diamondback has been modified. And now to the executable and the task, and we'll come back to it. Play. And of course, that had to have my Real name plastered right in big bold letters right on top. Please disregard that. Okay, engineers. While that's loading, let's see if I can get this to update. Tab. Close that down. Import data. Successfully updated. Let's go back to the crafting lists. And I can also come into here and at least cut that by 1. Update. There we go. It should be somewhere in here. There we go. Right there. Still have all the components I need to finish those up. And hopefully, with any luck, I can actually get this to properly work and jump me out of here to continue working on this. Okay, so where's my destination? There we go. Cycle the stick. See if I can get this to actually 0. Maybe, maybe not. If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm not exactly fighting anything new, am I? Okay. Yes, it worked. Okay. Now I just hope it keeps working. It'd be just my luck that it doesn't. You know, and I'm sure somebody out there's already figured out how to do this and whatever with mods and whatnot. I wish there were a way that I could get a external view, a third-person view, and still at least have some of the HUD elements so that I knew what the hell I was doing or where I was pointing. But being able to see from outside the ship instead of having to be in cockpit view all the time. That would really actually help a lot with three-dimensional awareness and perception of where the ship is in space relative to other things. Either that or there's some interface that I'm just not even aware of somewhere, but I mean, it seems like the basis of Elite Dangerous is set around the cockpit view, at least as far as the navigation and whatnot. So, I mean, maybe there isn't something out there, but it would be really, really damn nice to be able to fly around with an external view of the ship and be able to really properly understand what you're doing, where you're going, have your radar, your shield status and everything, and be able to do things from outside the ship instead of having, again, cockpit view all the time. That's really just about my only major criticism of Elite Dangerous. That and the fact that it is highly control intensive. I do remember my landing point was on the far side of this little moon here. So I'm going to start aiming for the workaround on that already. And maybe this time I'll be able to come in without dropping in way too friggin' fast. In fact, just to try and assure that I'll pull my throttle back just a little bit more too. Looks like I've gotten my stick to at least properly zero out for now. No idea how long that's going to last. So I start yanking and banking on it for anything. My approach angle might be a little too shallow. Yeah, my approach angle is very shallow. So this glide is going to take a couple of minutes. There we go. Yo! So, docking computer almost killed me. Seriously, bouncing me off the deck like that? What the hell? At least my shield's held up. Wow. Okay. That was interesting. I can be happy with that. Let's go ahead and navigate back. to carrier. And of course, it's not going to let me just navigate back to my carrier easily. No, I've got to go back into the filters, go back through all of these stupid things to find my carrier so that I can refilter to actually be able to see what I'm doing. Ay, 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 okay. Really don't care about the weekly bonus vouchers. That's something else I'm going to have to look at doing at some point, is going through and building up power play points for my preferred power of choice so that I can get a hold of my of prismatic shield generators for all of my ships. Oh boy, won't that be fun. And yeah, I know, prismatics probably aren't recommended or aren't the way to go for some of you, at least, but the way I play, I mean, they work. They're better than some of the other options that are out there as far as I'm concerned. I really try to work on high DPS so that I don't end up in drawn-out fights where shield depletion could be a big problem. I like the prismatic shields. I like the raw shield strength that you get out of them regardless of class. And I just want to be able to get all prismatics onto all of my ships. Up to and including a couple of my ships like the the manga, which that thing I actually crashed that thing into planet surface. So yeah, I want to get stronger shields onto my Mamba, and I want to get it engineered for kinetic resistant prismatics because that hurt. Yes, racing along at 650 meters per second, end up in a skid right into the ground. It didn't even just register that hull damage occurred. It just destroyed my ship outright. I was like, shit. Definitely won't try that maneuver again either. I hate it when I try targeting a ship, and when it targets the ship, it targets everything else around the ship and removes my locked destination point. Leaves me sitting here like, I need my ship scans, dang it. And okay, you're going to get your ship scans, but you're also going to lock onto a planet 2,000 light seconds beyond where you're trying to go in the meantime. I wonder. Yeah, no, it's not going to let me do that. Okay. Then again, I don't exactly have anything for it to properly test on anyway, so that's beside the point. I rekeyed a couple of my targeting mappings, and I wasn't sure if it was actually going to accept some of the commands. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay. So, is it going to bounce me off the deck again here? Nope, doesn't look like it. Good. Alright. So, that was Diamondback and Eagle. What else still needs the FSD? Looks like Mamba still needs Mass Manager? Really? Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull out the Mamba, why not? Oh, still needs the Mass Manager, okay. And it helps if I actually pull it out, doesn't it? Now, this probably isn't going to be anything new to anybody, but watch just how fast this ship moves once it gets clear. Once I start actually getting it clear of the carrier here. I mean, full throttle we're already doing like 400, 500 knot, or 500, yeah, 500 meters per second. And that's just at full throttle. I hit boost. Oorah! Hit 616 meters per second. I've already blasted well out of the mass lock range of my carrier. This ship is blazing fast. The downside is because it actually has one huge hard point. So it's got it does have a decent amount of firepower to it. It overheats like a son of a bitch. If you'll forgive me for saying that way. But, oh my god, it overheats like crazy. I forget what modification. I think I actually put thermal vent on this beam laser instead of, yeah, I put thermal vent on this heat laser so that when I'm hitting targets with this beam, it's actually dissipating some of the heat because this ship heats up so friggin' fast. Granted, when I was doing that test, I also didn't test it out in space. I'm curious. Since I'm here anyway, I may as well, Oh, come on, I'm not going that fast. Seriously? There. Let's switch over into combat mode, deploy the weaponry and see what happens here. Yeah. See, that just goes like crazy. I didn't even have my distributor proper. I didn't even completely discharge the distributor before it was out, and that was with 1 pip into the distributor. Now that I've got 4 pips in the distributor, I'm gonna overheat long before it drains that capacitor. 9, 81, 83, 6, 8. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Just, yeah. Point made. Okay. I think I've made my point very much well enough here, and hopefully I'm not going to destroy anything here trying to get landed. But yeah. So thermal vent on this beam laser is a damn good idea for this ship, as long as it's actually hitting targets, because it's gonna friggin' need it. Okay, let's go ahead and put those hard points away and get back to why I'm here. I just wanted to really... I really wanted to make that point and see whether or not it was going to be the same issue in space as it was on a planet's surface. On planet's surface, it was actually heating up dramatically faster. So actually, it was a little bit better than my initial tests, but still, just, yeah. Yeah. So glad I goofed and went with thermal vent on that one instead of thermal conduit. Because that might actually be helpful for this ship instead of harmful. Ay, 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 ay. There's a part of me that really wants to test this ship in a combat situation, but I've built it so much for its maneuverability rather than its combat prowess, something that it's really not exactly noted for anyway, that I really am kind of hesitant to. Because I think its maneuverability would, in a lot of ways, make up for its lack of hull strength or anything like that, or even really its lack of firepower. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I get interdicted by something at some point, I'll give it a shot and just see where the chips fall. This is gonna come in way too fast. Yep. Damn, this planet's got a thin cruise zone. Right in the raggedy edge of destruction on that. Well, I can't say raggedy edge of destruction. It's really just the glide versus... Yeah, anyway, I think I made my point. There we go. Now, let's see if the computer tries to kill me with the Mamba, too. Nope. Okay, good. I guess the Mamba doesn't bounce as well as the Eagle does. Alrighty. FSD. Let's go ahead, get the mass manager on there. And since I'm here, I may as well see if... Yep, okay, perfect. So now I can come to the Mamba. Add a plus there. Come into here. Face range and mass manager. Edit. I think I can remove 2 of those now. Yeah, because I didn't update after the Eagle. So now it's just the Defender for that particular modification. Okay. Let's see. I'm already at 2 kilometers. Let's go ahead and hit the booster. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, this thing books when you hit that boost. Hell, it books even without the boost. I'm already, what, 20 kilometers now? Yeah, this thing moves. I think once I am done with the upgrade on the Defender, I'm going to go ahead and call it for the stream for tonight. It's coming up on 9:30. I've got cats wanting in my door. And there are probably a bunch of other things I could be doing at this point in time as well. But I wanted to get the stream done because I didn't get it done on Tuesday, and just, yeah. There's a part of me that wonders if I come in, because I am a little curious about a couple of things with this ship. My fleet carrier's close by, so if it fails, it's not like I'm losing anything major. What I really want to do is find like a distress call or weapons fire or something like that. Like high-grade emissions. That might actually be a point I want to look into for my own purposes. These are all friggin' fleet carriers. Oh crap! This is gonna take a. No, I'm not. I'm not. You're giving into that one. I'm not giving into tracking down all of those signals. That would be stupid. I hate it when the scanner does that. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Instead, let's do it this way. Really hoping to find at least one weapons fire or middle ground distress call. high-grade emissions. Unknown signal, convoy dispersal pattern, could be something maybe too. There's a part of me that wonders what's in a couple of these high-grade emissions, though, because this is where I should be able to find some of my engineering materials that I actually need. Whether or not I've used up any of them is another matter entirely. And I don't believe I have. Radiolics. Those are things that I need. Sadly, I don't have any limpets on me, so I'm gonna have to scoop them up manually. But I'm glad I stopped and checked, I guess. Ooh, jeez. Glad I turned that on, because there's a lot of high-end, big shit out here to run into. I'm gonna lock in on this convoy dispersal pattern and see what happens. If there's anything attacking there, awesome. If there's nothing attacking there, I'm not losing anything, I don't think. I'd just like to be able to test out this build in the actual combat environment. Just a little bit. Come on. Yeah, nothing that's gonna outright attack me here, damn. I don't feel like getting myself in trouble to do it either. Especially not with a couple of anacondas. I'm not getting any decent scan data off of anything here either. Dang it. At least none of the scan data that I need. Oh well, so that was a straight up best. Disruptive mass isn't going to be a problem for long, is it? Threat 0 distress call really is not anything to get excited over. Anything interesting? Degraded emissions, but it's safe. Another safe degraded. Distress call, but it's 0 safe. High grade. Encoded. Weapons fire, that's right up my alley. And a couple more high grades. Well, I was going to do the Defender before I finish this stream, but I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and test out the combat capabilities of my Mamba here and then call it a night at that point. Because I'm seeing some good material gathering while I'm out here that I very much want to take advantage of. So definitely going to check out this combat build and move on for the night. Now, the other thing that I do wish to state very clearly is that I have not engineered my shields or my armor on this thing, so it's really hit or miss as to whether or not it's actually going to take a beating. And I'm not even going to get to actually test it at this particular weapons fire site either, because it's going to take me more than 45 seconds to get there. Damn it. Where the hell was that hiding when I was doing the initial scans? It even said that I had scanned everything earlier, so why? Whatever. Just whatever. Unless that's a timing error, but I doubt it. Maybe something else will pop. Maybe something else has popped up recently that I can utilize in lieu of that. Convoy dispersal pattern, encoded emissions, convoy dispersal pattern. Nothing really showing up out here. Those are all going to be fleet carriers. So there's still one hiding out here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Degraded emissions. There's one right there. Degraded emissions. So that still does nothing for me for what I'm wanting to do. And every single thing here is threat 0. There's one threat 1. But, okay, I forget it. I was hoping to be able to get that test done tonight, but looks like it's not happening. So, okay, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call the stream at this point. And I apologize that you didn't get to see a combat test of my Mamba. But, you know what, that's just the way the chips ended up falling. I really want to know how long that weapons fire was available, but whatever. Anyway, on that note, I'll go ahead and let everybody go. I hope you all enjoyed the stream to a certain point, and I will catch you all again next time. Have a good one out there, folks. Happy hunting. Stay safe. All that good stuff.